you're listening to your rock station, Solid 100.9 FM. And this is Soul Sisters. It comes to you every Sunday, 2 to 4 p.m. And this is actually the second part because we've treated the first part, which was more of stories from our inbox and other trending stories. And today is the third Sunday in the month, and it's Ability and Disability series. And as if you were following through when we started, you must have heard the voice of Ugo Simba and Mr. Samson, right? Yeah, so talking to us, and they are the people you'll be hearing their voices this afternoon because we are going to be talking about navigating the perceived social isolation and difficulties from visual impairment. But then bringing it down, bringing it home, Mr. Sampson will be sharing his story with us. Uh, when he starts talking, let me not tell you which it is, but when he starts talking, you get to hear from him.
Okay, so Mr. Sampson is here, and he's actually somebody that has listened that listens to most of our programs on Solid 100.9 FM. And you know what we promote on this part of segment of Soul Sisters is that we want people to come and tell us their story. He's visually impaired, and he's going to tell us what happened, his story basically from the very beginning. And thank God we have Ugo Simba here, who is she's now a full member of the Ability and Disability Soul Sisters. She's a soul
She's a
sister
soul
too.
team,
Yeah. She's a soul sister. So
Soul
she's here.
Ugo Simba.
Yes, Soul Ugo Simba. Apart from Eze Sinachi and Fine Glow, this one are pioneer members. Ugo Simba has joined. So we have three main people for our Ability and Disability series. So if you have connection with them, you are very lucky because they can actually get you to be part of Ability and Disability series every third Sunday of the month. So,
Yeah, and also walk you through challenges.
yes. Okay, so over now to Mr. Sampson. Tell us your story.
All right, thank you once again. Yeah, like you've said, you stated rightly. My name is Samson, and I recently graduated from the University of Nigeria in Soccer, and
Wow.
yes,
Course,
I, I did guidance and counseling.
Okay, wow.
Yes.
No wonder you have been guiding and counseling. You have cancelled that man. That man is cancelled in Jesus' name.
Amen. So, anyways, my impairment started in 2005 at the age of 9. Then I was in primary 3, and after then, according to my mother, because I cannot really recall um, everything that happened. So she said it was at the result of high fever. That is what was said when we were taken to the general hospital for Takat. That's where I is based. That's what was said. It's at the result of high fever, and it got to affect my eyes. Though before it affected my eyes, I was unconscious I was on coma for a very long time. And after then, when I came back, it happened that the sight was gone, and I was now struggling to
Sorry, how old were you then?
9.
9. Okay.
Yes. So after when I came back from coma, I started struggling and teaching me how to work and all of that. But so finally, after some years, 4 years thereabout, or 3 years, some of staying at home and all of that, all hope was gone. Nobody knew that I could still continue my education until some reverend sister, a reverend sister came.
Okay, sorry to cut you short, though. You said at 9,
Yeah,
you had high fever and it affected your sight.
yeah,
Definitely went to the hospital.
yes.
So what did they say was wrong with you? Was it like what did they say that would have affected, made you have high fever that affected your sight?
Well, I think all of those information right now is something I don't get. But some persons were actually trying to see how to help, sending me to go for tests and to know what's wrong, if it's something that can be corrected. And according to the doctor, when we went there, he said we just have to go do a brain check, a brain scan to know if it could be as a result of the brain tangling and all of that and all that. But since then, we've not gone because of the money um, that is involved for that test alone. So that's what has kept it away from happening. So like I was saying, it happened at 9. So after some years, a reverend sister from the organization of Daughters of Charity came to my family to tell them that I can still continue my education. And then I was sent to a rehabilitation center in Ebonyi State where I have to start from primary 4. And in 2012, I wrote my common entrance. So in 2013, I started junior secondary, which in 2015 I wrote my WAEC, my junior WAEC, and in 2017 I also wrote my senior secondary examination. In 2019 I sat for JAMB, but before this time it was not easy because you face discrimination from friends, people around, because they believe that it's something that can be transmitted. So as a result of that, even before I started schooling, loneliness was my second name because nobody wants to come close. Nobody wants to come close. And then you can't even see anything. You don't know where you want to go. You don't know where you want to step your foot. So you just sit at a place lonely and nobody wants to come around. So if not for the mother and the family I have that were just there, apart from them, there was nobody that came close, relative, friends, nobody came close to ask. And it has been terrible. It was terrible. So until I started and graduated and all of that. So he's now looking at, okay, fine, you coming into the university and all of the junior secondary school and all of that, you came to meet with a different community altogether where your confidence is now start coming up because you're not talking with people that were not there. Imagine a situation where it happened to you that years since 2005 and there was nobody you could call a friend. There was nobody you could sit, you could talk with, nobody, if not for the parents you have. There was nobody. So coming um to start up a new life where you are meeting different persons with that, because when it happened to you and your confidence drops. The confidence was not there. I think now I can talk because I'm better right now, far better than what it was compared to then, where I cannot even talk because there are large number of persons here. I can't talk. That is how it affected me. That is how it affected my emotions, my psyche, and everything. But thank God um, for progression, for progress of life that has brought me to this point. It's not really funny. Even in school as well, you still find out that some lecturers still that you say these persons we're supposed to know better, but they still discriminate against you, even though we know that it's on paper. The federal government has already passed that this person should not be discriminated against. There should be an inclusive education, but you still find out that people still talk down on you, still do not want to come close to you because they believe that you are impaired, you are disabled. So there's nothing, no correlation between the both of you. You do not have any, like some person will tell you that you don't have to live. There's no point to live. Just you need to go and die. And a lot of things have been said, terrible things that people said. But one thing that keeps me going is when I remember that there is somebody called Helen Keller, there is somebody called Cobhams, and this person did not die. This person lived beyond what the society would say. I just believe that okay, fine, though I'm not where I want to be, but thank God that I'm no longer where I used to be.
Wow. Okay, something I would like to ask, because while you were talking, you talked about those your times of isolation, staying on your own. So apart from you reminding yourself about Helen Keeler and Cook Farms, how exactly, like practical ways you were able to actually navigate those times of isolation, like people staying away from you? Because I believe for you to be able to come on air now and talk about it, you've gone past those stages. So what exactly, how exactly were you able to do that so that people who are listening to you can actually learn from it, the practical things you did, the family, did you get enough help? Were there times where even they too they got tired of actually rendering assistance to you?
Of course, during those times, I think my closest friend was the radio.
Mm,
Yeah, the radio was my closest friend. The radio was my everything because, yeah, when that moment when you cannot walk, you can't do anything on your own, you depend on people to take you to wherever you want to go to.
mm,
And yes, my parents got tired, no doubt. Yes, they got tired because when they are not, if they are going out, their mind will not be at rest because they know that, okay, this person will want to go to toilet. How will he go? So they
mm,
need to come back from wherever they are going to make sure that, okay, fine, are you in need of anything? Because if I was okay, like normal, even though I know that I'm fine, but let's say I was like every other person, they would not have any cost or anything to worry about because they know, okay, this person can do it on his own, he can access the toilet and all of that. But because they know he cannot, he is, so that worry is there. Even though they are going to the market, they are not at rest. They have to come back as quick as to make sure, okay, fine, you want to go to toilet, you want just to take you around. And I remember one liability to them. So they said they want to take me to my mother in church. So on getting to a point, they left me and they walk away.
mm,
So I was just in the middle of nowhere. You don't know, you cannot go front, you cannot go back.
mm,
I remember back then playing with my friends or some children. They took me somewhere and I don't know, all of them ran. And I was just the only one there. If not for the help of some persons that came and took me back to the house. But like I would say, my greatest companion that kept me was the radio. Listening to radio was because then I did not have a phone. So, but the radio was one thing that yes, you listen to, it gives you that joy. You get the information that you even get information more than every other person because at this point it's like you are addicted to it.
mm.
You are addicted to it, so you get more. You cannot see, so you are depending on your hearing, your ears to get information to do things. So this was how I managed, and to some extent, some people came around and some persons from church also came around to see how to spend some time with you, and with that it in some way gets to started boosting my confidence, and that was just how I was able to um survive. All of the I met to one more thing that also kept me is, in as much as the people we cite were not there, but when I started when I went to the rehabilitation center, I also met persons of like minds or persons of the same issues.
Mm,
So that was when you're like, okay, fine, I'm not the only one in this.
mm,
I'm not the only one in this. With that, you see how to start associating, and before the people we side started coming in.
mm. That's actually a very touching one. How do you think? Okay, I'll ask Augustine about this particular one before we come back to Samson. These associations, are there a way? I know that some of those people who have actually come here have handled some of these, but to you, do you think there is actually a way these associations can help um, people to navigate the difficulties? Now, navigating the isolation is different, and then the difficulty is also different because if you're alone and probably you didn't go to Braille school, you don't even have a way of using a phone or doing some things for yourself, it will be difficult for you to walk from here to there or to get some things done apart from their isolation, because you might not be isolated. Oh, you might even get friends who to that will talk with you, but when it's time to get something done, probably you are alone. So this question, when Ugo Simba is done, Samson will also talk about it. The difficulty itself, the organization that is actually there to help the persons with disability, is there a way, maybe awareness or talks on how to help them navigate these difficulties, and if there is any experience you've actually had on how to navigate the difficulty, you can share with us.
Okay, um, organizations, yes, in everything we do, apart from in the cases of disability, even if you are a hairdresser and you belong to an organization of union of hairdressers, you know that sometimes you learn new ideas from other people. So the same thing is applicable in this issue of disability. I've said it here January and December as well when we had Mr. Wafo here with us.
Mm.
One of the best things anybody living with disability, not just a person, a visually impaired person, you do is to identify yourself with the communities of people living with disability. Because then you will see, just as he said, when he entered the school of rehabilitation, he met other people that have the same issue. The same thing is applicable here. When you enter, like in anywhere here, we have the JUNAP, Joint Union of National Association of People Living with Disability. Under that JUNAPID, they have various clusters like the blind cluster, the albino cluster, and the rest of them. Then, when you join these people, what it helps you to do is, they have their quarterly meeting. They meet. Everybody will narrate their experience, what you are passing through, how you are able to navigate it. So it helps a whole lot. Like, take for instance, for the blind, during the October 15th of International Day of the White King, my NGO, for instance, we donated white skin to these people, and as well as other NGOs as well. So see, people now under this cluster, the blind cluster, we have an opportunity to get this white skin, and you will be taught on how to use the white skin to navigate on your own. That's why if you go out sometimes, you will see a blind person moving around with the white skin. But if you are alone on your own, there is no way, no one can live in isolation. That's why the Igbos we say in our local parlance, "No osisi adịghị eme ọhịa." So you need that community life for you to be able to navigate and move on. Then, based on personal experience, one thing I keep saying, and I will keep saying it at any opportunity I have, is for people to develop a beautiful and positive mindset of yourself. What you think about yourself is more important than what others think about you. Just like the topic you people treated last month, discrimination. You Some people even have personal discrimination. Some people discriminate themselves without knowing, because sometimes you will say, people may tell you, come, let's go here. Ọkwa ka nje ebe afọ ka ndị mmadụ malụ na mkpụrụ isi. Ọ ka ndị mmadụ malụ na mmadụ afụzi ụzọ ọfụma. You are discriminating yourself. So one thing I would tell anybody living with disability, especially visual impairment, because you know why visual impairment is more difficult. You may be an amputee and you have an appointment with someone. You will rush there first, see them. They will not know that your leg have some. But if it is visual impairment, even while looking at you, it is obvious that you have visual impairment. So what I will tell people, no matter the situation, no matter the condition, tell yourself, I am beautifully and fearfully made. Self-love, practice it. Because most times we discriminate against ourselves first before we look at families. Because okay, look at what he said, the brother and the cousin leaving him at the middle of the road. that will tell you discrimination at family level. Discrimination comes from these little places before we move on to the larger society. So, in trying to navigate whatever challenges you have, first of all, have this positive mindset. Agamana Ulisi, and so, Adima Fukle. I used to like when I was in IMT. Better will bear me witness. Most of the lecturers' offices are in a hallway, and those hallways are dark. But you will have certain situations that you must go to the lecturer's office to do what? To rectify. So if I'm going there, one thing I will tell myself, Nonye, is a must. You must match people today. But if I match, sorry, I didn't have to clear. Don't tell yourself, oh, first and
Yeah.
foremost, need that for clear before whatever thing others will tell you. If you go to working at blindness or visual impairment, or depending on the level of your own visual impairment, it's not a contagious disease. Ọ bụrụ ya na-efe efe ka ibu that you have to isolate yourself. No, so that you have it, that person next to you who is seeing clearly may be a victim of one or two circumstances tomorrow and have that same visual impairment that you are shy of saying. So don't limit yourself anyway. That's the number one thing. Don't limit yourself, because most times we don't navigate, we face this isolation because you yourself limit yourself. Tell yourself that I can make it, and you can see yourself making it.
Mm. All right, over to you, Samson. The same question.
Well, let me start with this self isolation. I think I also faced that as a person, because there are times you want to go, you're like, these people go no sign they see. Uh-uh. Then go no sign they see. I don't want that. You just want to stay back. And you see that staying back is not even helping. Because if you step out, people may help. There are people there that are willing to, even though we know that helping is difficult, but there are people that will want to assist you. Oh, where do you want to go to? Oh, do you need help? But the moment you're staying back, is the help is far from you, because right now we have a lot of us, a lot of our members in UNN back then, that they would their movement is just triangular, from hostel to the classroom, from classroom back to the hostel, or sometimes to the fellowship. That is just their movement. And also talking about association, how it helps. In that association, you see people that you talk about it in your meeting, you share your difficulties, how do you cope, and this other person will also talk. Sometimes we learn from we learn. That's why they said nobody's an island. Yeah, nobody's an island. The truth is, your strength may be another person's weakness, but your strength, if it is discussed, can also help this other person to be encouraged as well. So because I don't know, but sometimes when it comes to disability matters, when I try to when I talk, I remember a lot of, or I get the image of the past, how it has really dealt with me. And sometimes when I talk about it, just make me want to cry, and I don't just know.
Calm down. Okay? Just calm down. It's fine. The fact is, you are here telling your story. And your story is, like I said during my introduction, the aim is for people to get to learn from your story. Now, at age 9, that is actually a very tender age. That's the time you want to do a lot of things, just like your peers. And you fell ill, and the next minute, you're visually impaired. You were still young, so it might not dawn on you until now. And you isolated yourself. Radio became your best friend. Um, and you've also shared experience you had even from family members. The fact that your brother and cousin could take you somewhere and abandon you. And here you are today. So one thing I just want to tell you is that I said something today. My topic today was be patient, and it tells a lot of things. Okay, you are in this position today. You've even gone to school. You understand? You went to UNN. You are a graduate. So you made mention of Kobams. Kobams is visually impaired, and I think his is from birth. So basically, and he does a lot of things, making money. He's married. Okay, and he said something. He doesn't know how his wife looks like. But anything, and he doesn't even know how he looks like. At least one time you know how you look like. Do you understand, Mr. Sampson? Yeah.
Last 2 years before.
Yes. His own, it became just gone like that. So you don't have to, it's good to cry. I tell people if you want to cry, cry. Yes. Shed, yes. Shed the tears. But when you cry and you stay in it is the problem. Right? If you cry and you are in that position, you stay. Even me that I'm talking to you, I cry. Because there are a lot of things I want to do, I cannot do. There are a lot of places I want to go, but I know that if I get them, if I stay for too long, I might start having issues and all that. I just have to. But it doesn't stop me from being who I want to be. Right? Do you understand what I'm saying? So you don't have to look at it that, oh, things are hard and this one. The fact that you are here, the fact that people are hearing your story, and I know a lot of people, in case this kind of thing happens to them or their children, they will know how to manage it with what you have shared. They will know that, yes, at that point, this child needs you, needs all the love and care. You need to keep encouraging the child that, see, you can still be better. I know people, the people who run for Olympics, Paralympic, people that have ability issues, but they are traveling abroad. Me that at least my 2 legs are still okay. I never go there abroad. I still there. Do you understand? So even we have people who run race. The person who won, the Brazilian, is blind. She's blind. I mean, person who won, a Brazilian. They have races for visually impaired people. So I don't want you to. If you want to cry, cry. If you cry on radio, it's not a bad thing. At least you'll be the first person on radio that is crying.
You
To
know,
be on record.
one more thing that gets me upset is due to the love I have for radio. It's during my schooling, I actually enrolled for as an intern to on a radio station, and during those times, while I was in doing my internship, you still see that discrimination there. Even when I finished that, well, because you know that at this point you cannot operate the console. So because even up to now, I still do my program online FM. So it means that you are totally dependent on people. And you see this person tell you, I no go do one. And you are not like, Shana, this thing where I for do wave say it now brings you back to that memory.
Mr. Sampson, let me share this. After you said it, I had a friend. God bless his soul. He's late. He was visually impaired. If you go to Voice of Nigeria, anybody will know that what's the Voice of Nigeria. I know this too well because I grew up in the environment. My dad used to work there. It's my family, kinda. This guy is visually impaired. Like I said, God bless his soul because he's late now. But let me shock you. You know, this guy won Best Presenter, I think for 5 years or 10 years. Row. You know they miss him. We have people who can see, who can look where. But this guy was winning it. He wasn't winning it because of his condition. He was winning because the guy was good. Very good. I'm talking this thing passionately because he was one of my mentors. He was one of the people who coached me, per se. I remember a particular incident that happened. He knew I was the one. And I had to ask. He said that he knows everybody's smell. That's it. This guy came to our office in Solid FM. He came to Enugu. He's schooled in UNN or IMT, I can't remember. But he came. Tony, my friend, he works in Asaba, Benin now, was on duty. I was on duty, but Tony brought him into the studio. And he said he wanted to see Lillian. Let me see Lillian. I raised down my small girl. That's what he calls me. And I came out. And I said, well, in our studio day, I took him to the studio. Do you know this boy touched our console, this machine, touched it and was telling me the name. This is 21 for blah blah blah, so something. Called the name exactly. Even me, will be Lillian. I don't know. Now that time I started to check the name of the thing because I don't know the. I started looking for where they wrote the name, where they write the name. But he could tell me the name. You understand? So I don't want to look at you to look at it that they don't want to work for you. Fine. I thought this guy was manning console on his own. Then they leave. When is his turn to be in the studio? You know, it's a federal government parastatal. So you have like so many studios. They have French studio, they have Igbo studio, they have English studio. Like when it's time, he goes to the English studio, which is dark, padded. that even me self sometimes can lost inside the studio. Somebody will go unaided and he will be there. You will see him talking, oh, this is a person, you go, they raise mic, they talk. Like me, where I go there 1 week, I don't even sabi on mic. This one, I'm telling you a personal story. I don't like talking people's story. Anybody that knows me, I like using myself as case study. So, if this person, that was one of the things that prompted, I say, if this person go fit know this one, who I be not to know am. Do you understand what I'm saying, Mr. Sampson? Do you understand?
Yes.
So please, I don't want you to like to limit yourself. Anybody that doesn't want to help you is that person's cup of tea. The fact is, you are alive for a purpose. People die out of depression
Yes.
because of their situation, but you are alive. The world wants to hear you. Thank God you said you started. You have a program running in Lion FM. You have a purpose, and that's what I will say to you. That is what was said to me, that I have a purpose. I'm saying it to you as well. You have a purpose in this life, and maybe that purpose is for you to be on radio and talk to people that still don't believe that something good can come out of your life. Possibly your cousin, he don't see you now, he don't know say that their plan no work, because you don't know what the plan was. Somebody else would have come and kidnapped you, or motor would have hit you, and your story will end. But you are done with school. You have a program running. Anybody that want to help you, don't want to help you, is that person's loss. Because at the end of the day, you will come out, you will shine like a diamond. You will blossom. You will be that mango tree that there will be so many fruits. People want to pluck you. That is what's happening at this point, because they don't want to help you. They're throwing stones at you because you have. So brother said yesterday, he said, if they don't throw stones at you, if they don't talk about you, you are a nobody. So anybody that me, that is what I used to carry myself. Oh. If you don't talk about me, that means I don't have value. But once you start talking about me, it gives me morale to do more. That is me. Because I've not gotten to where I want to get to. I wrote something on my status. I say, who are you? Why are you in this world? I asked myself the question, Lillian Obianijo Izinwa, why are you in this world? Are you here to make a name, to carve a niche, to touch lives? Yes, of course. That is why I'm here. Are you going to actualize it? Yes, I am going to do it. And whatever anybody says, if I see you, you are moving with the same dream I have, I follow you. If you're not moving with the same dream I have, I will try and move on my own. So please, my dear, Biko, when you get home, you can cry. For now, I will cease the cry. Don't cry. Do you understand, Mr. Sampson? I like the fact that you are doing something, which is key. If you are not doing anything to take your mind off a lot of things, it would have been a problem, because depression will set in. You begin to ask yourself questions you're not supposed to ask yourself. You did not create yourself. I did not create myself. And if you're a Christian, God knows the end from the very beginning, or knows the end, beginning from the end. So he knows you. He knows you are going to be seated here. He knows you'll be in solid FM today, even without you. Without even thinking about it. He knows you are going to be here. Sure, let me hold on. Let's take calls. So if you're listening, let's get to hear from you. The numbers are 0909 771 1009. Hello.
Hello?
Yes, go ahead.
Good day, those sisters.
Good day to you too.
This is Owen.
Okay, sir.
I'm delighted to hear from Samson.
Okay.
You know, I've been there in December and January.
Yes.
I have to tell the Samson not to cry. But there's one thing I want you people to understand. You know, I'm the one that had my own disability. At a time, I have finished service.
Yes.
I want to advise Samson not to cry. He may wish to have my phone number. I will tell him some of the coping mechanisms which I'm discovering by myself. You see, the last time I came, somebody was saying that I have self-pity, but I didn't reply to that. There's no something like safety. The only problem is my intellectual property, which I don't know how to deliver because my course of study, which is dramatics, is made up of applied mathematics and mathematics, which have been taught in various levels of education. So the issue there is post-traumatic stress disorder. That is what somebody battles in disability of this nature. That cry is not probably tears of joy, but he needed companion. If he wouldn't mind, I'll give him my number. He can call me so that I will be my friend and I'll keep him in very good company.
All right, no problem, sir. Thank you.
The other one I want to touch that I didn't finish the other time is sometimes when we talk about this ability and disability, it looks like a symposium discussion. I would like people that are really interested in the welfare of disabled people to be telling us something. Like last time, somebody said I was suffering from self-pity. I never cried.
Sir, I want to take other calls, yeah? People on the line.
So the issue is, somebody said, because I discussed this with somebody with disability, he said that talking of somebody being a medical doctor is not, is insulting that disability. I discussed with somebody.
All right, sir. No problem. Let's take other calls. You know, Daddy.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Time I will continue with this because I'm not well seated with it.
All right,
No
hello.
problem, sir. Hello.
Ada, good afternoon.
Yes, good afternoon.
Chika nwe shop. Ego abatago Chika aka.
Ada,
Chika, welcome. Oh no.
Beta Biko.
Kenke
Agwagọ gị na nga akpa account number ma ọ bụ mineral ka onye nna ga-eti.
Chika, mụ na gị nwe agreement. Asị gị bịa solid ka m mere gị birthday 25th.
Okay, 25th
I'm
of
serious,
March.
Bia. I will celebrate you. It's not joke.
Beta, wait, please. Beta, like this man just said now. In or in this situation, I want to take a step in here. What way he gave me in life? And for this the best of what you can. Okay, what? As I'm talking to you now, if I stood now for check and then a shop, I grew up, I was born, I am an albino. Now, my family, I don't know how to put it.
Chika, I got to your story ever. Chika.
I trained myself.
Chika, my shop.
With little or nothing. Wait, better. Okay. With little or nothing, I have my shop. Food. I started that shop with little or nothing, just 3,000 naira. I was said there, wait here. I think we were all mother at school, went just a wet land, we won't win. Better. Open up right hand down there. Demolition and everything. I'm a young. And those people that look down on you are still beckoning on you to help them. So, I want to accept people for one. Stand out. Be the best pictureable. Don't look down on yourself. Don't people in a nagaranya no. I want to hear the. I want just life is all about packaging. Just stand out, be yourself. Okay, take it something time. You were I'm not a when I was 1 year. Oh, we could take it 5 years. But let him focus. If I want choice, he will get there. It doesn't matter. All time God will take care. Good afternoon, all.
Thank you so much, Chika. Oh, we appreciate your call. Thank you. Hello.
Hello.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Chijioke from America.
All right, Chijioke, welcome. Go ahead.
Okay. I want to tell your guests not to be disturbed because everybody on earth is disabled in one way or another. Their own individual others have their own form of disability. But one thing I want to assure him is that God goes to good for him. God will sustain him, and whatever he will do, he will be. That he will be. The only toughest situation on earth is God's kingdom, but for now, I have to take it the way we see it. There is ability in disability. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Chijioke. We appreciate your call. There is ability in disability, and Chika said, "Don't look down on yourself." And this is actually so true because looking at Chijioke's story, in fact, he's even strong because that to even go through school and all that, because some people would have actually dropped out because they were now depressed, discouraged. Oh, I don't have anybody, I can't continue and all of that. But then you summoned courage and you continued, so you're really strong. So this one is just more like you're just remembering, maybe it's memories that is about making you soft again. Don't be soft, okay? Just be strong. All right, we're taking your calls. We're still on it, and we're live on Facebook, Solid 100.9 FM. You can go there and drop your comments, and we'll also read it out. The numbers again are 0909 or you can send us a WhatsApp message now on air 0902 If you have anything to say concerning what we are talking about, Samson has actually shared his story, and we're talking about navigating isolation and difficulties that come with visual impairment. Yeah, go ahead. Ugosinga.
Okay, what I want to say based on one of the callers, Mr. Marco,
Mm.
concerning what we discussed on self pity the last time he was in the studio here. We were just trying to hammer on the need to focus on what you can do at this moment and not what you cannot do, because he was stressing much on the issue that he has so many things on his head
Mm-hmm.
that he wants to impact on others, that this visual impairment has made him not to impact. He said it in December, he repeated it in January. So we were like
Said it in March.
focusing on what you cannot do as a person living with disability will do you more harm than good. It may result to self-pity. Oh, it is because of this, I would have been this or I would have been that. So even we had, I don't know the man that was sitting beside me on that January, the man also hinted on that it is better to, because he's of this opinion that this thing, ability and disability, that you don't think it exists, and we were like, it is existing, that no matter what, in that your disability there are still abilities in you. Look for those areas where your strengths are and develop them. Stop focusing on your weaknesses. Yes, it has happened. It has happened. There are things I know for sure I can't do for myself. But dwelling on those things I can't do for myself will do me more harm than good. I rather focus on the ones I can do, develop it, and make a meaningful life out of it. We are not saying that, oh, you have self pity. No, maybe you misunderstood, because I was the one that made that point. Maybe he misunderstood me. I said, thinking of this issue of I have knowledges that I can impact. At least thank God that you have worked, you have raised your children. What of those people like Samson now that faced his own issue at a very tender age? So dwelling more on your weaknesses as a person living with disability, no matter what your disabilities are, will do you more harm than good. Look at those areas where you have abilities. Look at those areas where you have your strength. Develop them. Work on that. Ndị mmadụ na-echange business, didn't we? You may be doing keke riding before, and at a time you will tell yourself, let me save money and go into something else. Not that keke riding is not good, but you want to change what? To change pattern or change business. The same thing is applicable to a person living with disability. If there are things you are doing before you have your issues, and you think that your disability is now an impairment, it has now limited you to to do that. If you try all you could and you cannot do that, look for other things that you can do and you can thrive in so that you will live a happy life.
Okay, now there's something you said, and Mr. Okafo, I wish we would have you again. And basically, when we have you, there are a lot of things we would want you to understand, and everybody. When we talk about self-pity, you know, the truth is a lot of us, when we have issues, we want people to pity us, we want people to start pampering us per se. But I personally, I remember 2017, March, this same March was when I had an accident. And which have been for moi, which I don't know what the outcome would be because the state I was in at that point, without share anyhow, maybe I wake to hospital, keep a synagogue by my leg, what I go, because I saw my leg, I saw how it is. Then when accident. Even though I should announce na radio that day that hey, Otiba Junction will not hold the better one accident in a orthopedic hospital. People still did not believe because that was on a Wednesday. Because by Sunday, by Saturday of that day, I want people to pity me. Because I want to do something. So when you, even with all the knowledge you have, we told you the last time, Mr. Wan, for that, you can tell people, yes, it's mathematics, but you can tell them what to write. There's nothing that cannot be done now. There's nothing that cannot be done. Or you change pattern. You change pattern. So it's not, the self-pity we talked about is not the way you are going. And Mr. Sampson, thank God you are already doing something. What you need to do now is to harness the talents that you have. You're already in the radio space, Lion FM. Use that space to do something. You might be, I've told you about what my visual impaired blind friend who is late, but who was best presenter back to back. Now white skin in the use the work. I was staying on the island, going to the mainland to work, unaided. He came here, touch system, or grandma for the system. See, all because this guy is just faking this blindness. He's faking it. Because how can you touch something and tell me the name? This is quantum 257. Oh, he has 7 buttons. Check it, is it correct? And I was looking like me. That was there doesn't even. Is that there? I started. That's what prompted me to start counting the buttons we have in every console we buy. Because it made me look like just now be all a waste my time. But it puts me on my toes. I've learned that one. So anybody that have contact with you ought to learn something. Mr. Sams, that's what I'm telling you today. You're coming here, at least you've heard from people, you've heard from Ugosimba. Ugosimba seated with you has issues too. She rarely see. As you are seated with her now, I'm not sure she they see you. Her own self is funny because if you go outside, she go see you. If she come inside, she don't go see upon all these lights here. So you see that it's even a problem. You're laughing. You don't they smile. So you go see say, oh, what a problem I do. Imagine in on a yard. In on ilo ifuzo. If I any my yard, the man fuzo. Is it not funny?
Wahala dey like church project. You know they finish. But if you say this woman, she might in Maka. What I go the day she told me, I was shocked to my bone marrow. You see, na line. We did experiment that day. I wanted to hold her outside. She said, no, better. I can see now. I say, nah, this woman, I bet don't try this with me. I have better. I say, hey, where's the door? I say, hey, auto accord. So, the man were issue, but you need to accept. One is acceptance. I have this. Otan Nokita, me, I accept say I get accident. I accept say there are lot sometimes anybody that see me will know that will ask me, but why is your leg swollen? But that's the way I see myself. Oh, when you get mention table, then you just be here, better sit down. Eventually make her down. The reason they're telling me to sit down is because they know that in the night I will not sleep because the leg will be paining me. Do you understand? So problem, but have I accepted it? Yes. Am I going to accept it and sit and do nothing? No.
I accepted it. Then look for ways to also dance without affecting the leg. Now I can sit on the chair and dance, raise leg, do everything. Any dance style you want, I will do it for you. Because number one is I accepted the situation. Number two is I did not let my accepting it
To weigh you
to
down.
weigh me down.
Exactly.
Number three is I'm moving, I'm navigating away from it. I don't want people to see me and say, hey, is it your leg, one of your leg paining you? You don't need to know. Okay? So that should be your case. Nobody need to know that the things you cannot do, you ask. When in doubt, ask. Ask, please, how do you do this? You learn it. At least you can talk on radio. Nobody will teach you how to talk. With the ones you are listening, you're also learning from other people. All right? We have taken way above the 4 o'clock.
Anyway.
So we just get your closing summary of what you've said, Mr. Sampson. And I know you are taking something home. You also tell us what you are taking home, because we don't want to hear you call us and say, better, I'm down. Oh, there's one girl I want to marry. She said she cannot marry me. We will go to fight her. Why would she marry fight? Look at how handsome you are. What is all this?
If she can marry him,
When I saw you like this, I was like, wow, who the hell is this handsome guy? You don't know you're handsome. People need to go and see you. Show them him. Let them see this fine bobo working in a radio station for a radio presenter. What's your on-air name?
The playmaker.
Just imagine. They're playmaker. International, they're playmaker. The next time now I'll be hearing you have traveled abroad. Just don't forget me in your kingdom. So just do a summary of everything you've said, okay?
All right, thank you once again, and to everyone listening out there. Disability is not a hindrance to you achieving what you want to achieve. Like I have, there's this man. He's Kasarachi Innocent. He one of his legs is, I think it's not, but he works with a stick. He's a lecturer. He told his story. It was very, very pathetic. But right now, he's a lecturer, a doctor in the University of Port Harcourt. And sometimes he comes to UNN to lecture because that's where he's schooled and all of that. He never allowed it to hinder him. And for me, yes, at the point, I just tell myself that, guy, it don't happen to say it don't happen. But yes, sometimes that experience still comes. So we just for to fight it. So parents and friends and everybody, even though the disability is there, please, I will ask you, because most parents they lock the children inside,
Exactly.
and they lock them inside.
Say they should not come and don't
Maybe
come
they
and
don't see and
disgrace me.
say, you can't disgrace me because you know they lock them. I think a lot of things have developed. The world is changing. The world is changing. So just let them out there, because it's when you allow them out there that's when the help will come. Because for me right now, I got the help, or some persons came to me to sponsor because they saw me on the road. They're like, I told them, I'm a student at you. So that's where they started helping, they started sponsoring. So if I was inside, I wouldn't have gotten it. So I want to advise, like a lot of people have said, and I think I've learned that one, that don't let it bother you. Just wave it off. Yes, it has happened. It has happened. Accept the fact that it has happened and look for a way to do other things to better yourself. Thank you.
You go Simba.
Anyway, I want to tell everybody, just as one of the callers said, every human being on earth has one disability or the other. It's just that most people their own are not obvious. You don't see it, but they know they have that deformity somewhere. So accept whatever challenges. You are not the one that created yourself, but knowing that, as the scripture said, that even before you were born, he knows you and he knows what you will be. All you would work towards as a human being is to achieve God's purpose and God's plan for creating you. Don't limit yourself. Tell yourself that you are unlimitable. So move on, and make the best out of yourself. Thank you.
All right, move on and make the best out of yourself. Thank you so much to everybody that listened to the program today. There is ability in every disability. That's our message to you this afternoon. Don't limit yourself. Self-pity, it should be a no-no for you. And I encourage everybody. It doesn't matter how long you've been in that situation. It doesn't matter whether they've said it is unredeemable. The fact is that you are alive for a purpose. You are alive because God wants you, your voice to be heard. It was either Beyonce that said, I was here. You are here, and make sure you're able to do something. Make sure you're able to touch lives. Parents out there, please locking that child at home so that people will not know you have a visually impaired child or somebody. I have a friend, my very good friend in university. The child, I think the first child has they ampute the leg of the first child, and you see her proud where there are events. She carries the child there. She's trying to get an artificial leg. The child should be 10 or 9 years, and this is somebody I know, a young girl. Do you understand? Having a child like that. And when she has shared her story on air before, how it was taking care of a child like that. And most time the child is aggressive because he sees the other
Playing around.
ball,
Yeah.
and he wants to. But we're forgetting that even football self, we have teams for people with issues. There are football teams too. So please don't limit that your child. Whatever you give to the child that is able, please try. And that's what she says she does. Whatever she gives to the one that have 2 legs, she gives to the boy. If it's ball she buys for the boy as well. His hands are not affected. It's just one of the leg. So please, we're begging you. We'll do this again in the month of April, and it's going to be on Easter Sunday. So we're going to be celebrating it. Simba, she has already laughed and said she might not be here, but we'll see. Just take care of yourself, be good, and keep listening to Soul Sisters on Solid 100.9 FM. At 4:30, it will be time for French Word
Je
Show.
m'appelle, je m'appelle.
Mhm.